We've gone through the Connery years, the Moore years, the Lazenby year, and the Dalton years. So now we move on to a more modern Bond. Well, that's what was advertised at the time. The post-Cold War Bond.
Yeah. So hugely important historically is that after release of Licence to Kill, in 1990, something called the collapse of the Berlin Wall fell. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Pretty big event, culturally, historically.
Launched David Hasselhoff's singing career, if you know anything about
that. Roger Waters did a concert, about the wall.
Yep.
So it's a hugely important historical and cultural moment where the Cold War is seen as ending at this point.
Yep.
Obviously there's debates on whether it's still going on or not, but historical and culture generally it's seen as being, that's it, that's the end of it. Both sides appease and tensions dissipate. A lot of cultural theorists and historians at the time were calling this the end of history.
Yeah.
We're getting to the end of we're getting to the 90s, near the end of the 20th century. A lot of cultural historians were saying now we live in a bit of a postmodern society. There's always fluctuations and changes and political strife. Britain was leading into Labour.
New Labour.
Tony Blair's new promise.
Yep.
The question became for the filmmaker and producers of the new James Bond film was, how do we update Bond for the modern era?
How do we make him relevant, basically?
How do we make him relevant? And in between this time, conveniently, James Bond goes into hiatus. The Timothy Dalton films underperformed, especially Licence to Kill. People just didn't warm to Timothy Dalton. But as we said in our previous review, we felt that Timothy Dalton was a bit ahead of his time, and his films have aged extremely well. But due to a rights issue and the fact that Licence to Kill underperformed, the Bond films went into hiatus and did not return until 1995's...
6 year wait, was it? Or?
6 years, 89 was Licence to Kill. And then Bond returned in the much beloved, I'd say, Goldeneye.
Yeah, this I think is seen as one of the classics.
Yeah,
it would be in my top 5.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah. For a lot of people of a certain generation, Goldeneye is like the James Bond film. I guess almost our generation's Goldfinger.
Yes.
Maybe James Bond.
This is the first one I really enjoyed.
Yeah, when I was a kid, this was like one of the first ones I ever watched.
Yeah.
I loved the computer game as well on the N64.
Oh, I've played the Wii remake of that.
Oh, yes. I've still got the original N64 cartridge.
Yeah.
Classic game. Inspired by, I would say overall, a pretty good movie.
I think it's a great film.
Yeah, it's pretty
I think it still holds up.
Yeah, it does, yeah. But I think some things have aged about it. I think, like, the soundtrack's a bit iffy.
Oh, is it Tina Turner?
Yeah, Tina Turner's the song, and then, like, the actual music video's, like, inappropriate. I know, it doesn't really mesh well with the film.
No.
But, what stands out is Pierce Brosnan as Bond.
I think he's a great Bond.
Yeah, no,
wasn't he going to do it when George Lazenby was in? He played that Remington Steele, so the filmmakers didn't want him to do it as it was too similar.
I think so. Yeah. Either that was when he was the first time for Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
I can't remember which, but yeah, it's one of those. I think Roger Moore was gonna leave like before Octopussy, like for Arizona was like his last one or something.
Yeah.
And I think they're looking at Pierce Brosnan. So Pierce Brosnan was a candidate for a very long time, and the timing just felt right on this one.
Yeah.
Like it all kind of came together quite nicely.
I think even as a film though it holds up, because as I was saying about them having to answer how to stay relevant, I think that they went in a more personal direction.
Yeah.
Like it's someone he knows who's the villain.
Alex Trevelyan.
Sean Bean. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Alex Trevelyan. Yeah. And then, like, it even answers, like, how sexist Bond is. Judi Dench, who is now M, a female M, which I suppose at the time was kind of quite forward-looking. She describes Bond as a cold misogynist dinosaur, a relic from the Cold War, which sums up M's attitudes towards Bond.
Yep.
So I suppose they semi-answer the question of does the world still need James Bond?
Yep.
I think the film ultimately answers yes, because there's always going to be trouble in the world. But he can't quite exist the way that he used to. I think that's what we're trying to say. Yeah,
that's the kind of thing. So he has to update and to... But even outside of that, I think it's just a really good action film as well.
Yeah, I think it is. It's got some twists, it's got some turns, it's got some fun side characters. Yep. Xena on a top.
Oh, my Famke Jensen or something.
Famke Jensen, yep.
Who's done nothing but the X-Men films.
Yeah. That's about it. Can't think of anything else she's been in. Alan Cumming?
Or doesn't he camp it up a lot and
Yeah,
like, play it over the
plays
top?
the scientist.
Yeah.
The Bond woman in this, because now we're not.
She's a bit.
She's a bit. She's a bit of a. I don't know.
She's like a hacker or something.
She's a hacker, but she's like the prettiest hacker in the world.
All right.
But no, she's not great. She serves the purpose okay.
Yeah.
But I think compared to Xena on a top, she's going to be a bit,
Yeah.
a bit forgettable.
A bit boring.
A bit boring. But no, Goldeneye holds up. Goldeneye is still a recommended film.
Yeah, it's really well. I mean, the director, is it Martin Campbell? He's a fairly solid director.
Yeah, Martin Campbell. Yeah.
Seems to get pulled in like he directed Zorro at the time.
Yes.
And now later Casino Royale.
Yes, which we'll get to.
But yeah, good. I would say it's like a 9 out of 10 film.
I'd say 9. I'd give it
possibly
an 8.
An 8. Yeah.
I'd give it an 8. I think at the time I would have given it 9.
Yeah.
But like some parts of it have I think they've answered the question to whether Bond should exist better in later Bond films.
Yeah.
Because I think GoldenEye kind of settles on a bit of a compromise.
Yeah.
But it's a take overall. Great action scenes.
Yep.
Fun villain.
Yep.
Always moving.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Really, really good film. And then we move on to a more average Bond film.
Average one.
Which I always get this one mixed up with the next one.
Oh,
They're very similar, sort of samey films. Neither of them are particularly great.
No.
Is this Jonathan Pryce one?
Yeah, Jonathan Pryce is a ruthless media tycoon who tries to destabilise the world economy by orchestrating a deadly standoff between world superpowers in an attempt to achieve high ratings for his media conglomerate, and Bond must prevent World War III.
Yes.
So basically, again, it's the same fucking plot as You Only Live Twice, and For Russia With Love.
He wants to control the news.
Yes, he wants to. Yes, that's his figure. This one, he wants to control the news, and he's playing both sides off against each other to get the stories on the day,
Yeah.
which is all it's all irrelevant now in a world of like instant. Like news, instant media.
Yeah, it's. I think at the time this was like meant to be a scathing satire
Yes,
of Murdoch.
yeah. Like Rupert Murdoch's like 24-hour Sky News kind of thing. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I
definitely.
think there's a lot of room in it for really interesting stuff to do about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think it does much with it. 'Cause Jonathan Pryce plays it as it's a cartoon.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Doesn't he have it? I remember that there's loads of stuff I remember about this one, like little bits. But I remember there's a bit where like the sidekick is like, I can take your heart out.
Oh,
You'll
yes.
still be alive.
Oh, yeah.
Like most weird torture section ever.
Yeah. There's like the other thing that's slightly interesting is the opening where like a flame from Bond's past reappears.
It's great that Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher, yeah, and she's like Jonathan Pryce's new like girlfriend, and a flame from Bond's past comes back, and she's really fun. They're really interesting scenes, and Pierce Brosnan plays off against her really well. Then she gets killed by the weirdest assassin ever, who has like 5 minutes just dedicated to him.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Then Bond kind of just kills him, just shoots him.
Yeah.
Again, the main Bond woman in this, she's okay.
Yeah, isn't it? Oh, is it
Michelle?
Maggie? What, Michelle?
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Maggie O.
No, not Maggie Yeoh. No.
Oh, she's off Die Hard, isn't she?
Yeah. Michelle Yeoh. It's her there.
Michelle Yeoh. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
She's okay. She's like generic. I'm an action girl.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah, I
much to her.
think the Pierce Brosnan ones had a bit of a struggle with the Bond women.
I think so.
Because
Yeah,
I think that they were they couldn't obviously be sexist by making my candy like Pussy Galore. But they couldn't.
Or Holly Goodhead.
Or Holly Goodhead. You couldn't go over the top in terms of making them co-leads. So they just settled on like a no man's land of average.
Yeah. They kind of had a awkward in between.
Speaking of terrible Bond women, what's the next film?
Well, Tomorrow Never Dies. First of all, I'll give it 5 out of 10.
I'd give it 5 out of 10.
It's very average. If you want,
Sorry, I saw a good segue there.
I know. I just had to interrupt.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want decent action scenes, Tomorrow Never Dies kind of gives you it. There's some fun action set pieces, but overall, it won't leave you like with much. It won't leave you thrilled.
No.